It's that time again, people. Let's get it started. Welcome on in, everybody. This is Ockey Budz episode 150. 150. I'm your host, Drew Taylor, and we are back at it again in the white vans. We are back at it again in the pocket. Tried to record earlier this week, just couldn't make it happen. Feeling a little groggy here on this Saturday. I believe it's December 13th. And quite a bit has happened this week in the NHL, in our league. It's going to be an action-packed pod, right? We'll break down my failures from the garbage men. We'll break down some of the NHL trades. We'll go back and break down one of the trades that happened in this league earlier this year. It's just all around. We got a funny face. I'll break down the week that was, the week that is, another donkey kicking for the fucking Bang Bros right now. Things are looking good for the Bang Bros. I mean, everything looks good when you're playing Wilga, but hey, we're in the pocket. I'm happy to be here. Just having a hell of an awesome Christmas season. We just went to a great Winter Wonderland house. Everybody look up Winter Wonderland house. You can do it on YouTube. Winter Wonderland house in Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale, Arizona. The Winter Wonderland house is fantastic. It's like a little bite-sized Disneyland ride here. People, they shut down the street. People line up in front of this house. This guy's been doing it since 1987, and you get to go through his backyard. He's got like a little mine shaft built for people. His pool is all like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer themed. There's a huge little Christmas village in his garage. And then the next door neighbor is a Grinch house, and they had the Grinch out front taking pictures with little kids. So just doing everything I can to celebrate this holiday season, like eating fucking Girl Scout cookie. I went to a Girl Scouts event. They released a new cookie. Secret. It is Rocky Road flavored. It's delicious. They gave me a couple boxes, so I've been crushing cookies. We went to an awesome Italian food restaurant last night. I just stuffed my face with pasta, with meatballs, with veal meatballs. I had Monica try a bite of a veal meatball, and she did not. She was not a fan because she knows a veal's just a cute little baby cow. But we had chicken. She had a mocktail because she's very pregnant, and we just had a good old time. Then we came home, and I actually hit her pen. I hit one of her old pens. Haven't really smoked that much in a few months, and boy, are my arms tired. Boy, I'm feeling groggy. I slept for like 9 hours. Never do that. Woke up at like 9 o'clock and feel like I'm behind the day. So had to make sure I recorded this one. But it's just all-time Christmas. Like this tonight we're going to go, I guess Tempe Town Lake does a little boat parade. If I mentioned that last week, it's because they didn't do it that weekend. They did it this weekend. We had our dates wrong. But we're going to go down to Tempe Town Lake, Tempe Beach Park, and enjoy some Christmas lights on boats as they parade past, and then just wrap up some Christmas movies. So it's just been a fucking good start to the Christmas season. You know, it's the third week of Advent. Light your candles, light your menorahs, and we're just having a good old time. So the G-Men, my fantasy football team, for those of you in that league, they get knocked out. Congrats, Croto. I'm rooting for Croto in the playoffs for Triple GFL. Go Crow. He deserves it. He's a good He's a good soldier. He's a good fantasy hockey soldier, and the guy deserves a W. Coming in from outside the group, outside the childhood friend group, making a name for himself, fitting right in. I still have never met the guy in person. Tip of the cap to you, my friend. It was a great win. I had no steam after Jones went down. It was done, and he went down early, so I knew Sunday I was like, well, that's it for me. So I got a taste of my own garbage medicine that I've been dealing to other people, and you shoved it right back in my face. I'm telling you, it was all Macho Man Randy Kravitz. Put me in a blender, dude. There, after that recording, there was no chance. I think you should do it every week, dude. Randy Kravitz should like just keep. If you advance and you're playing JC next week, Randy Kravitz, you need to call back into Triple GFL and talk some shit to the commish, because it puts you back on your heels. Let me tell you, when you hear that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm just rooting for him. Like I said, he's a fierce competitor, great guy. Can't wait to meet him in person one day. But hopefully that day comes and he's a champion like I am. We got a new TV, you know, we got the Christmas tree up. Tis the season. The Christmas tree's up, decorated. Then we got a new TV. We got an LG 55-inch from Costco, and I'm not sure if we like it. The remote is one of those remotes you have to like aim it and stuff, and it's just, I'm not a big fan. So I think we're gonna go to Samsung for Costco today. We're gonna compare the two side by side, and most likely return to LG. We got sold the LG. It was $30 cheaper, and I just think the pictures look pretty much the same. We're gonna go with the Samsung. That's my guess. We're gonna go pick that up today. Good stuff. Costco just fucking rules, dude. There's nothing better than Costco. You walk in, the clothes are cheap. You can get a nice flannel for like $19. You get free samples. You get big bags of everything. Then they have like pre-made food, like their sushi's delicious, their poke bowl's delicious, those taco trays are delicious. We got these like, for $20, we got like a row of ground beef stuffed bell peppers. You just put them in the oven for like 45 minutes and they come out ready to go. It's just the best. Alcohol is cheaper if you're into that stuff. Then they have the food court, right? The food court, you can't go wrong with the food court. So yeah, I'm a big Costco fan. Do we have any Sam's Club fans in the house here? Does anybody go to those posers at Sam's Club? Don't get me started on Winco. I'm looking at you, Andy Flask. Don't get me started on Winco, Andy. But yeah, no, we love it. We love it. So when I'm looking at these notes, I wrote these earlier, maybe like Monday. You know, it's all the way to Saturday now. So quite a bit has happened this week. So I mean, here's the thing. Skinner, talk about the NHL. Skinner going to Penguins. Penguins giving Yari over. I don't know who else was involved in that trade, but if it was just a person swap, I think we all can agree. I don't know if Yari is the answer for the Oilers to go win a cup. I just don't think he's that guy. But you never know. Change of environment, change of scenery, change of pressure could turn Skinner into a monster. It could turn Yari into a monster. Both of them just were kind of not loving their time where they were, and they shook things up, and they finally got traded. So I'm sure Edmonton's happy to at least get Skinner out of there, but I just don't think he's the guy that's going to get you to a cup. And the Penguins are surprisingly good this year, so they're a cup contender, and we all know how fucking Skinner plays in the playoffs. So I really just don't. It's kind of a nothing burger of a trade, honestly. Like I said, I don't know the other guys that were involved in the trade, but that's good to see, and we're starting to see a lot more moves. This Quinn Hughes move, though, holy cow, that happened really fast. Because I remember on Chicklets, they were talking about him potentially getting shipped out of there and maybe going and playing in New Jersey. And listen, guys, he still might. Like, I think it was Joe that said he wanted to see him play with all the Hughes brothers playing on the same team. He's only signed for 2 more years. I think maybe 1 year after this season. So, like, there's still a possibility he does not re-sign in Minnesota and signs in New Jersey. So Minnesota just gave up everything for 2 years worth of a cup run. But you never know. He may love it there. I forget. Are they from? Maybe they're from Michigan. I don't know. I mean, is he from Minnesota? It's a fair assessment with him being American. So we'll see. The Canucks get a lot of young, good players. I don't know much about them, but I know they got some studs. They got a first-round drafter, and then they got Rossi. Is that how you say his name? Rossi. You know, he's a pretty good center, but they're in the rebuild. They're not going to be good the rest of the year. But, dude, Quinn Hughes playing that top-line power play unit with Kaprizov, holy shit. That's going to be exciting to watch. Going to be a little bit more motivated now that he's with a team that actually gives a fuck about making the playoffs. So that was a blockbuster of a trade. Love to see it. Hopefully we see more of those kind of things happening in this season, because I love seeing teams shake it up. I love seeing big moves. And hopefully one of those big moves ends up with the Kings. We need the Kings to make a move here, right? Let's get some shit going. Let's get a guy to push us over the edge and get us a cup. Huh? Okay, and then talking about trades in this league, I think sorry, Joe, not Joe. I think Dave Krall was texting me because he wants Dostal for my team, but he's not willing to give up anybody for it. So I'm not trading you Dostal, Krall. I'm not trading it to guy to you. But he comes to me and he thinks he got fleeced. And I told JC in the text, but I was texting him. I was like, I think I broke down that trade pretty fair if we go back and we look. I mean, it was like Frederick Anderson and Dustin Wolf or Will Smith and Zach Hyman. And Will Smith was the only one playing well at the time. But I said, hey, if Hyman picks it up, this could look good for JC. Frederick Anderson's not even playing starting right now in Carolina. Get off is he needs to get off the IR because he's hurt, so he's not even playing right now. Right now, there's no goal. Dustin Wolf's doing pretty decent in Calgary, at least for a bottom feeder team that he's the number one starter. And then Hyman gets a hat trick. So looks of it is like, if Will Smith doesn't just continue to dominate, if he doesn't step it up and get 2 points a game or at least a goal a game, like. Looks like JC might be the winner of that trade and absolutely pantsed Dave Krall. Because this guy Brucey, whatever his name is, he's the number one guy in Carolina now. Yeah, look at that. He's on Chanel East Coast. Brucey. And maybe he'll drop him when Vasilevsky comes back. But Vasilevsky doesn't come back for a couple more days. So Brandon Brucey is who knows? He might not even drop him. Why drop Brucey when he's getting all these wins? Like, he's winning. He hasn't lost in the month of November. So, and December. So, I don't know. Brandon Brucey seems to be the number one. Krall, you might have got fleeced. And you think it yourself. I'm not even being an asshole. So, props to you, JC. This is what I thought could have happened. I didn't say anybody got fleeced. Needed more time. Of course, my neighbor's landscapers show up. The beauty about doing a rinky-dink pod in the front of your house. Motherfucker. They've been out there doing work all morning long, and they decided to whip up the blower now. What a fucking asshole! All right, I told JC about this, and everybody needs to go tune in. I'll lean in closer so you guys can hear me, but everybody needs to go online and look up on YouTube Kenny Tarmac. So there's this radio program. Used to be like the Mark and Brian radio show, but they were more nationally syndicated. I think they were based out of Indianapolis, and it's called the Bob and Tom Show. But they had this guy that would call in consistently. If you know who Donnie Baker is, Donnie Baker's a character that this guy Ron Sexton used to play. He is on YouTube. He's pretty funny, like redneck. But Ron Sexton used to call into the program regularly, and he would imitate this guy named this douchebag named Kenny Tarmac. And so just go Google or YouTube Kenny Tarmac clips or audio clips, because it's just like the typical douchebag sales guy that's traveling around from airport to airport making big sales. And it's some of the funniest shit I've heard in a long time. The guy Ron Sexton that played him, he died like 2 years ago from fentanyl. But which is fucking wild if you go watch some of his Donnie Baker clips and stuff like that. But Ron Sexton was hilarious, and this guy Kenny Tarmac is the biggest douchebag of all time. So that's all I got for you on the front half of this pod. Go look up Kenny Tarmac. JC enjoyed it. I think the rest of you guys will enjoy it. If you know douchebag sales guys, Kenny Tarmac's your guy. Talking about, we gotta do a funny face. We gotta do a funny face before we talk about week number 9. The funny face I've got here is a guy on the Nashville Predators, and he's a cutie. He's a big time cutie. His name is Luke Evangelista. Luke Evangelista. Go look at this guy. He looks like the main character from Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think his name's Tim Curry. Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Look at this guy's hair. My gosh. He looks like Ace Frehley or Gene Simmons or Paul Stanley. He looks like he could be in the band Kiss. He looks like the Kiss guys without their makeup, except cuter. My gosh. He's like a permanent Halloween costume on, emphasis on the perm. Perm. Luke Evangelista. Handsome devil. Look at this guy. Just got the flow coming out the back, flowing out the top. I used to have hair like this. Give me that hair. Luke Evangelista, somebody pick him up off the wire. He just had 3 assists 2 days ago. This guy's on fire. I might have to put him on my team. I got plenty of good right wings. But somebody go look up how hot Luke Evangelista is on the waiver wire and on his pictures. A hot guy. Funny face of the week. Episode 150, Luke Evangelista. Have yourself a day, bud. All right, week number 9, matchup number 9. It's hard to believe that we're in matchup 10 right now as I record this. We're almost halfway done with the regular season. Almost. Still got a couple more weeks left. All right, I face off against my brother. Evan had a decent week. He broke 200. I mean, I just kicked the shit out of him. It was sad. I just fucked him up. Knies to a Nerf gun fight. Falls short to a tough Chanel East Coast team. Chanel East Coast is a tough team. And Knies to a gunfight. Just didn't have enough gas in the tank to get it done. Big fantasy week for Croto last week. Jeez, gets a win against Ryan Ford. Squeezes one out. Beats me, dude. Just living on the top of the world. LARPins gets it. Dude, just get out of LARPin's way, people. Dylan LARPin is just fucking killing it. Skrill can't pony up to it. I thought Dollar Skrill, y'all, would put up a show. Gets beat by over 50 points. So, Dylan LARPin, man, 8-1. Holy shit. Everybody loves Raymond. Eases past Wilga. Everybody loves that. Wilga did not stand a chance against this team. And everybody loves Raymond, if I recall. Yeah, he didn't even have that good of a week. 169. Would have got beat by a lot of other teams, but he matched up against Wilga. Probably going to win. Ramblers dominate again. Good job, Ramblers. Ramblers, sneaky good team. They score a lot of points. With Robertson and Panarin, dude, Robertson's having a fucking season. So I'll look more at his team when we open it up, JC. But your team, looking pretty good right now. Big goalie week. He texted me too. He wanted me to. Wanted to remind me he had 70 points coming from his goaltender. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But how appropriate. Joe Ford subs in, plays goalie for his roller team, and what does JC do as a thank you for? Hey, thanks for filling in, bud. Playing roller hockey with me and my friends. Really appreciate you, sticking in the back of the net and standing tall for us. When we play in fantasy, though, I'm going to score 70 points from my goalies against you and get a big W. What a dick move. No, but how appropriate, right? Thanks for texting me, JC. And then Curse Breakers against Chippendales, two just crafty champions over here. They're not even veterans. They're just champions. And they squeeze out a W. So Curse Breakers squeeze out a W over Chippendales. Let's dive into it. Let's look closely at it. Let's look at my week. We always start with my week because I'm the most important here. And talking about the losing team first, talking about the losers, this is what's sad about ET's team. ET had 59 points coming from his goaltending. I mean, Jake Ottinger, 3 games started, 3 wins, 1 shutout. Igor Shesterkin, 3 games started, 2 wins. And then even Jacob Dubois, he had 1 win. So, 60 points coming from your goaltending, that's a lot. And then he had only 20 points coming from Evan Bouchard and then Tom Wilson. Both of them had basically 20 even. And I think the skaters on this team really let Evan down because he only had 143 points coming from his skaters and only 2 guys broke the 20-point streak, score. So Evan probably would have liked to see more from Yossi, from Gunther, from Hopkins, from from Tavares, only 2 points from Tavares. But that's just not going to get it done, Evan. Good thing Tom Wilson and Evan Bouchard are lighting it up right now. Evan's 1-8, and if he doesn't get a win right now, this week 10, he could be done. He could be knocked out almost already. So we'll see. But talking about my team had a crafty 43 points coming from their goaltending, and then a whopping 207 points coming from the skaters. So I had a lot coming from the skaters. 26 points Martin Nietzsche's, 26 points coming from Draisaitl. Both of them had 26.1 points. Evgeny Malkin, who's on the IR, man, what a great pickup for me, but now he's hurt. 24 points coming from him. Clayton Keller and Sam Reinhart both had 21 points, and then Alex DeBrincat, 20 points coming from him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the 20-point scores range. I'll take that every single week, bud, and that's going to be enough to get a W. Chanel East Coast versus Smell Ya Later, Knies to a Nerf gun water gun fight. Jesus, this team is soft. They get their asses kicked. Not really though. Honestly, not really. It was a close battle. They both had on Wednesday. They each had 34.2 points. So Chanel East Coast leads the first 4 days, and then come Friday, Knies to a gunfight gets like a 30-point comeback on that day. And then on Sunday, he tries to come back even further, but just doesn't have enough gas in the tank. Chanel East Coast holds him off and gets a big W for his team. Knies to a gunfight, 40 points coming from his goaltenders. Every single one of his goalies got one win. He got one shutout, so that's pretty good. And then he had 30 points coming from JJ Peterka. Hey, his hometown Utah boy, JJ Peterka, with 30 points, and Jack Eichel with a nice 20. Not a bad week, man. You would have liked to see more guys get in the 20-point range. Probably would have won if that happened. But, you're going to have to take a L and keep moving forward, right? Mitch Marner, 8 points. Like, what the fuck, Mitch Marner? Right? All right, and then 22 points, 22.8 points coming from the goalies of Chanel East Coast, with negative 3 points coming from the ASU boy, Joey Decord. Negative 3 points from Joey Decord. That's not like him. But it's because he faced off against Edmonton, and Edmonton seems to be heating up, finding the back of the net left and right lately. So that's why Yari's going to have a better time. He knows he's playing in front of a much better offense. Even though they have Crosby over in Pittsburgh, no one's playing like McDavid other than McKinnon right now. So he'll have some success, but obviously Chanel East Coast would like to see a better performance from Joey Decord, but he still gets the W. 186 points coming from his skaters. That's 23 points coming from Protas, Alexei Protas. 21 points coming from Konechny, connecting with the back of my throat. And then 20 points coming from Sid the Kid. So there you have it. Great week, great win for Chanel East Coast. Chanel East Coast 5-4. If he gets a win this week, he's going to be 6-4. This guy's staying at the top middle of the pack. Knies to a gunfight isn't out. He's still in it, but he doesn't have a strong team, and I'm doubtful he'll be able to make that long push. I think he's going to start to find his way in the back of the pack. I'm not even beating up on him. I'm just giving it to you straight that I think Knies to a gunfight just doesn't have enough weapons. But who knows if Matthew Knies can pick it up, if Dylan Strome can start playing better. Like, I don't know, it could happen, but I don't know. I just don't feel like Where's Stutzel been, huh? What the fuck is Stutzel doing? He had 6 points from Stutzel, and then I think Hedman's out until February. So, big loss for this team. I'm sorry, Ryan. But Chanel East Coast, I was going to pick up Darren Radish, and you picked it up. You picked him up before I did. Rad pickup. The guy had 2 goals, a goal and an assist the other day, 23 points coming out of nowhere. He's the guy playing in Hedman's spot. So Chanel East Coast with a snipe on the waiver wire beats me to it, and it's paying off for him big time. All right, move on to another team. Let's go Dylan LARPins versus Dollar Skrill. Dylan LARPins is just just on an all-time heater, 8-1. If he didn't lose to Wilga, he'd be undefeated right now. So we all have to thank Wilga a little bit for giving us all wins, but then also giving Adam Christensen a loss. So that's nice of him. But, Dollar Skrill started out back on his heels and never found his footing. I think he had one day where he beat, maybe 2 days, but one day really, really tried to make some headway back, and that was Friday when he gained 15 points back. But he was down and out from the start. 1, 2, 3, 4 days where he just gets beat over the head. Dylan LARPins just comes at you in waves, and that's a big win for the LARPins, and they played a big opponent. Talk about the losing team first. This guy swimming in goalie heat. 30 points coming from his goalies. It's not bad, but Husso from the Ducks, he's going to lose a lot of playing time with Dostal coming back off the IR. So Dostal gets 21 points for him. That's basically where most of his goalie points came. This team's going to struggle with goalies for a little while if things don't turn around for a couple of the guys like Olmark, Anderson, and Vladar. Skaters, though, only 150 points coming from his skaters. Never mind. Heiskanen led his team with 23 points. Then he had Theodore with 20. Will Smith with 18, see that name, but 2 D-men leading your team in scoring, you don't usually want to see that. And he has Makar too. So you think it would be Makar at the top of this list. Makar only had 14 points. Heiskanen and Theodore led his team in scoring, and you just don't want to see that. So talk about the winning team, Dylan Larpin's 41 points coming from his goaltending. He had 25 points coming from Mackenzie Blackwood. That's big. And then 193 points coming from his skaters. Let's talk about it for a second. This matchup was led by defensemen. You got Mort Seider with 30 points leading Dylan Larpin's team. Nathan McKinnon, 30 points coming from him. Another defenseman, Zach Werenski, 25 points coming from Zach Werenski. Cole Caulfield with 22 points. Look at this. 4 guys over 20, 2 guys in the 30s. And then out of both teams, we had 4 defensemen breaking 20 points. So a lot of defense scoring points in this matchup. Dylan Larpins gets the win. Snooze Fest. We'll cruise past this one. Silver Acres Rest Homes 107. Everybody Loves Raymond 170. This was over before it started. I mean, Everybody Loves Raymond had to climb out of a little hole. He was down like 20 points off Monday, but he climbed right out of it, no problem. And then absolutely kicked Kelly in the face. 48 points to 2 points on Thursday. Once again, Kelly had 2 points. And then Parsons had 48 that day. So that's all he needed to really nail the coffin. The weekend really didn't matter. They matched up pretty evenly over the weekend. And Silver Acres Resting Home gets another L. Only 15 points coming from his goaltending. Didn't break 100 from his skaters. He did have 2 people over the 20s. So talking about the losing team, we're talking about Celebrini and Ovechkin. The tale of 2 ages. The young gun and the old guard. 25 points coming from Celebrini, and then Ovechkin with 20 points. Talk about the winning team. Like I said, not the best performance from Tyler, but matched up against the right opponent. Boy, would Evan love to hear that. Evan hasn't heard that once this season. Evan, you were matched up against the right opponent. Evan's only been matched up against the right opponent to get an L. He only gets L's right now. So Tyler would have lost to Evan by 20 points, but he's matched up against Wilga. Tyler gets 32 points coming from his goaltending, and then he gets 137 coming from his skaters. Only one guy breaks 20 points. That's Lucas Raymond, and is a big win for Tyler, and we'll keep moving on. Tyler, those are the kind of grimy wins you need. Just keep moving on to the next week. Curse Breakers versus Chippendales. This was a close matchup, back and forth, back and forth. It came down to the weekend where the Curse Breakers just had a good Saturday and a good Sunday, and that was enough to get it done. It was not as close going into the weekend if it wasn't for the Friday, because if we go to Thursday, Curse Breakers has about 60 points to Chippendales 30. So then he goes up by about 30 points on Thursday. Going into Friday, Curse Breakers sitting pretty. I'm up 30. I'm feeling good. Chippendales says 9. 1 point from the Curse Breakers on Friday, and then Chippendales dumps 30 on him. So going into the weekend, it's pretty much tied up. And then Curse Breakers just edges out Saturday and just edges out Sunday and gets that grimy W, wins by 8 points. We'll talk about this one in the awards. Talking about the losing team first, only 22 points coming from the goaltending for the Chippendales, and they pretty much had every goalie in the NHL on their lineup this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goalies. He had 6 goalies. 11 games started, only 2 wins. Only 2 wins. This guy loses by 8 points. Only gets 2 wins from his goaltenders. He had 11 chances to get more. Only 2 wins. 22 points from your goalies. What a fucking idiot. Big Nate. What a stupid dummy. And then he had Mikko Rantanen did well. 33 points coming from Mikko Rantanen. Kyle Connor had 27 points. And then Brad Marchand with 20 points as well. That led his team. But we're talking about the winning team. Holy shnikes, 50 points coming from the goaltenders of Curse Breakers, with Ilya Sorokin crushing it with 33 points. And then he had 132 points coming from his skaters. And it was all led by Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, 33 points coming from Connor McDavid. Nobody else sniffed 20 points. So this matchup was really won by McDavid and Sorokin for Curse Breakers. Big win for him. Big win for him. He's battled some adversity. Both these teams going through adversity, and I don't know if I like that. I don't want them to go through adversity and then like ultimately win the championship again. That's just a fucking guts. That would be too gutsy. I'd have to actually root for it. I wouldn't like that. I don't know. 3-6 for the Chippendales, 4-5 for the Curse Breakers. They're not usually in this position. We'll see if they can squirm their way into a playoff spot. Talking about squirming their way into a playoff spot, we got Cuck Me If You Can versus the Ramblers. Ramblers just continue to get over 200 points a week. I want to see how they are in their standings with the points for, but they got to be up there as one of the top teams points for. Talk about the, it was a 50-point differential, so we don't have to talk about how, a lot of it came on Sunday. It was a big Sunday, a lot of it came on Saturday. It was a big Saturday for JC, a big nothing burger for Joe Ford. 55 points for JC on Saturday and only 14 points for Joe Ford on Saturday. So that's where the difference was made. But talking about the losing team first, only 2 goalies going in the net for Joe Ford. He had 25 points from his goalies and 145 from his skaters. 20 points apiece from Leo Carlson and Mark Scheifele. So that's it. Would have liked to see more from people like Marchenko and Kucherov, but not going to get it done. Oh, man, I stand corrected. Going into the Ramblers had 82 points from their goaltending. Holy goalie week. Wow. 82 points coming from his goaltenders. 9 games started, 6 wins, 3 shutouts. He had Logan Thompson, Dustin Wolf went 2 for 2, Darcy Kemper, and Charlie Lindgren. 30 points coming from Logan Thompson. He had Dustin Wolf with 23 points and Darcy Kemper with 20 points. Wow. What a goalie week. Like I said, how ironic it's against Joe Ford, the only goalie in our league, just gets pummeled by JC, and JC had him skate on his roller hockey team as a sub goalie. Thanks, Joe. 140 points coming from his skaters, 27 points coming from Panarin. And then Morgan Geeky just finding the back of the net, getting some assists this week too. 27 points coming from him. Nobody else broke 20, not even Jason Robertson. But hey, Pasta's back, so maybe Geeky will keep getting a lot of goals. Who knows? Great week, guys. Great week. But top of the teams in the league right now, looking like LARPins, myself, Everybody Loves Raymond, Dallas Skrill, the Ramblers, Chanel East Coast, and Cuck Me If You Can. We're talking about points for a second ago. Looks like Dollar Skrill's at even 2,000 points. I'm right behind him, about 20 points behind him. Dylan Larpins and the Ramblers are 3 and 4, and Everybody Loves Raymond is 5. So the standings kind of reflect the points for. Would you believe it? And like I thought, JC, I knew you'd be up there with points for, but it looks like Krull and I have quite a bit more points than everybody else. So we have about 100 more points than Dylan Larpins. I'm on a 4-game heater. Larpins is on a 3-game heater. Evan has lost 8 in a row. Let's look at the opposite. So the streaks. 4-game heater for me, hottest team in the league. About to beat Wilga by 100 points again. So I'll be on a 5-week heater after this pod. Larpin's 3-week heater. Raymond and Ramblers have won 2 in a row. And then looking at the opposite end of it, Silver Acres, 3 losses in a row. That's to be expected. Nate Devon, in treading in waters he's not familiar with, 3 losses in a row. Knies to a gunfight, 4 losses in a row. And then Russia sucks. 8 losses in a row. Oh, that sucks, dude. Oh, man. All right. We'll see how this goes. Let's do some awards. I'm going to get on out of here real fast. Trojan Condom Top Performer of the Week. Love to see it coming from a goalie. That's Ilya Sorokin. 33 points from the Curse Breakers, and he gets a W. Tampak's Little Bitch, the Chippendales goalies. We talked about a second ago. Tampak's Little Bitch, Chippendales goalies, 11 games started, only 2 wins. He loses by 8. You hate to see it, right, Nate? You hate to see that. Also, a dishonorable mention. Only 2. Tim Stutzel only gets 6 points. He had 1 assist. He played in like the last 6 games, he's had 1 assist. I know this week he's playing better, but when I wrote this down, he was doing shit. Knies to a water gun fight, needed more points. He loses by not that much. Tim Stutzel could have made a difference, so I got Chippendale's goalies and Tim Stutzel on team Knies to a gunfight. Your Tampak's a little bitch. Smooth move of the week. Chanel East Coast. Darren Radish. December 2nd. 9 points. Got Boosie. 6 points. Saturday spot start. He gets Eberle too. The spot start from Boosie. Boosie also now is like the #1 goalie in Carolina, so we'll hold on to him. But that spot start was clutch. That Darren Radish pickup was clutch. Hedman goes down. He gets the guy filling in for him, right? Anderson and Koch-Gidoff fall. He gets Boosie, the guy filling in for them. Great pickups, great smooth. Chanel East Coast, have yourself a fantasy week, bud. Your Top Gun, Bang Bros. My first time winning this award. All right, 250 points. I'll take every bit of it. Nicely done. And then your Pampers Poopy, Wilga. There we go. Everything feels right in the universe now. Wilga's back where he belongs in his home as the Poopy performer. The Pampy Poopy performing. Matchup number 10. I can't lose to Wilga. I'm up by 100. I'm not going to lose to Wilga, so I'll get another win. Russia sucks versus Knies to a gunfight. This is a battle of the shit bowl. The battle of who wants to end their losing streak, right? Right now, Knies to a cuck fight is up by 4 points. Evan needs desperately to get a win, so he's not on a 9-week losing streak. So we'll keep an eye on that this weekend. Should be a close one. I think we got New Jersey playing Anaheim right now too. But, oof, man, each of these teams really needs a win. Chanel East Coast versus LARPins. Right now, Chanel's beating him. Chanel's a crafty vet right now. Starting to be just a tough team to compete against. Chanel East Coast up by about 12, and Dylan Larpins is no slouch from coming back. Dallas Skrill is beating up on the Curse Breakers by about 60. So I think Dallas Skrill's probably going to get a win. He's up by 50, I think. Dallas Skrill's probably going to get the win. We'll keep an eye on that. Another close one, everybody loves Raymond versus the Rambler. Rambler's going to be in San Francisco this week. Right now, everybody loves Raymond's up by 11. This is still a close one, so keep an eye on that. And then Chippendales versus Cuck Me If You Can. The biggest guy versus the smallest guy in our league. Cuck Me If You Can up by about 20 going into the weekend. Should be a doozy. I love y'all. 37-minute pod. I'm going to end this one. Talk to you later. The landscapers are picking it back up again. I got to go. Bye.